So today we are making a sugar skull. I'm excited about this. I love sugar skulls. Let's get started. So sugar skull is an edible skull that's used in the Mexican celebration of the Day of the Dead. Day de los Muertos. Day de los Muertos. It also celebrates the Roman Catholic holiday All Souls Day. I'm actually Roman Catholic, or I was raised Roman Catholic. The church that I went to when I was younger and I had catechism in was actually called All Souls. Now to make this cake I actually use this pan mold. Look at this pan mold. It's one of my favorites. I'm doing 4 other cakes with this pan mold because I love it so much. Shaped like a skull, obviously, the front and the back. You're gonna need 2 cakes for this, and I'm actually using a blue velvet cake. And I think the blue would look really nice because this cake is so colorful and it'll just be so vibrant on the inside as well. So I took them out, leveled them off, did all that ice and good stuff to stick them together. There's also this place on Melrose called Milk, sponsor me, I'm promoting you. They've got a bomb ass blue velvet cake and it tastes like blueberries, but this one just tastes like really good cake. It doesn't actually taste like anything. There's probably some really good blue velvet cake recipes, but these came from a box too. Gave them a crumb coat, and I'm actually doing a crumb coat with my hands. The reason I'm doing it with my hands is because there's so many curves, like in the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. It's easier to fill those places with icing when you're using your hands as opposed to using an offset spatula. It takes so much time, it's crazy. I have no patience for icing, it sucks. I want to get to the art stuff now. Let's get to the art stuff. So after I did that, I rolled out some white fondant and then I placed that on top of my skull. And I just used a whole bunch of my fondant tools to get the insides of the eyes. I just wanted to make sure that all of the features on the cake didn't get lost when I put on the fondant. We're ready for the decorating part. Now the decorating of this cake is completely up to you. When I was researching this, I actually looked at a whole bunch of different sugar skulls and none of them looked alike. So you can do something similar to what I did, but you could also just go crazy and do something else, which is pretty awesome. I'm using a fondant mold. Wilton's, I'm using a product, sponsor me. I buy these molds a lot. I have a whole bunch of Wilton molds, but I'm kind of hesitant to use them. I don't want it to look cookie cutter, and so this was one of the times where I thought it was like perfect. Now I wanted both of its eyes to be covered in flowers, so I actually used these 3 teardrops to create petals for his eyes. And when I stuck them on, I realized that I needed to like paint the inside of it black, so I took them off. Grabbed a paintbrush and some black food coloring and painted the cavity of both of his eyes and his nose. And then I went back to the mold. Wilton's, I'm calling you. Now there was one thing that I realized about all the sugar molds, that most of them were symmetrical, and that's what I wanted to do. So I did the right side first so I could figure out what pattern I wanted to create, and then I moved on to the left. Now while I was using all the different colored fondants with the mold, I was actually also using these sprinkles. Well, Wilton's. I wanted to make sure that I was mixing the colors and making this as colorful as possible. It was really hard to decide what colors go where and how I wanted to mix it because everything looked really nice. And I thought this was really fun because there were no limits. Now after I figured out my fondant pattern, I actually decided that I wanted to use all of these sprinkles to decorate and outline each individual piece of fondant. So I used these tweezers to put each individual sprinkle onto the cake. And if you follow me on Instagram, then you know my frustration with these sprinkles. And you guys had so many awesome words of encouragement. That looks amazing. Don't give up on that beautiful piece of art / cake. It's gonna be worth it. Oh, I needed that, man. I was gonna give up. So after I finished beading the right side, it was time to do the left side. So I repeated that same process. First putting on each individual piece of fondant, then taking my trusty tweezers and then placing on each bead of sprinkles. The left side was actually less work than the right side. The right side took long because I had to decide where I wanted the fondant to go and which color bead went where. And with the left side, all of that was decided. So all I did was take the time to apply all of the fondant and sprinkles. It still sucked, but it didn't suck as long. I actually did do a little beating of icing with black just to get his teeth and his smile perfect. I actually don't even know if it's a boy or a girl. Do sugar skulls have genders? I don't know. And then to finish the bottom, I actually took a paintbrush and some black food coloring and then just brushed it on so I could get the bottom of the skull. Finished it off with gumballs and some, what are those called? The chocolate M&Ms, but they're not M&Ms. I don't know what they're called. Sixlets, that's what they're called. And I was kind of unsure if I should finish his eyes with the sixlets or if I should just leave them black. So I asked you on Instagram and Facebook. And Instagram actually was overwhelmingly for the green eyes, but Facebook was really undecided. Some of you wanted the green, some of you thought it was better without the green, and some of you were like, just keep it one and then no green on the other. And because it was so undecided, I actually had to make the decision. I don't like making decisions. And I decided we're going with the green. Do I even have to say how beautiful I think this is? You're right, Jennifer. All of this was worth it. I'm over the moon for this cake. So much time went into making this baby and it's so beautiful. I love it. I even decorated the back. Look, usually I just hide the back because it's plain and I don't care about it. But I did it all. Look, I did it all. I did it all. Now, this video is only half of the story. Make sure you follow me on Facebook and Instagram because I'm posting pictures and videos as I'm making the cakes. So you can be a part of the conversation when it comes to making something like this. It's gonna be a very long time before I make something this detailed because my patience is running out. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments what you want me to make next and I will see you very soon. Bye.